The so-called Saint of the Gutter was born in 1910 in modern-day Macedonia. But it was in the slums of Calcutta, India, that Mother Teresa found her home and her life's work.
Pope Francis officially canonized Mother Teresa on Sunday in an elaborate ceremony in St. Peter's Square.
Teach our children to pray and pray with them, and you will see the joy and the love and the peace that will come into your hearts.
Mother Teresa is widely regarded as one of the greatest philanthropists ever, a symbol of love and selflessness, and her legacy is full of admiration and intrigue. But many didn't know there were hidden secrets about this iconic giver. Join us as we explore the depths of her inner world. What could have caused such deep spiritual emptiness in one so dedicated to serving others? And how does her story help with our struggles and doubts? Let's embark on this journey together and uncover the truth behind the Saint of the Gutters. When you talk of charity, the name Mother Teresa immediately strikes your mind. The unwavering dedication of Mother Teresa to the cause of the poor and sick cemented her reputation as a symbol of love and selfless sacrifice. Throughout her life, she tirelessly served those in need, embodying a spirit of relentless compassion. For instance, when Mother Teresa received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979, she insisted on holding the ceremony unconventionally. Instead of using the prize money for her organization, she requested it be used to help people experiencing poverty in India. However, her legacy is more complex than many realize. While widely admired for her work, some aspects of her life and practices have been subject to continuing debate. In her acceptance speech, Mother Teresa said her core mission is love and charity. She emphasized the importance of loving others with the same depth we reserve for ourselves. She drew a powerful parallel between this principle and the ultimate sacrifice of Christ. Mother Teresa added that compassion was her guiding light. Beyond her well-known advocacy for the underprivileged, she also addressed critical social issues like abortion and drug abuse, while reminding people of the enduring hope and joy of Christmas. While many admired Mother Teresa's tireless dedication to serving others,
Mother Teresa started the Missionaries of Charity to help the poor on the streets of Calcutta. But soon the religious orders spread throughout the world.
What we can reveal next will shock you. One of her private letters recently found reveals a hidden dimension to her life. Written to Reverend Michael Vander Peet, the letter offers insights into her internal turmoil. Here, a stark contrast emerges between the unwavering faith she projected publicly and the profound spiritual loneliness she dealt with privately. It is important to note that Mother Teresa's spiritual struggles are not unique among saints and religious figures. A similar experience, known as the Night of the Soul, has been documented throughout history, with figures like Saint John of the Cross describing periods of intense doubt and a sense of separation from God. Before we go further, it is important to provide some context into the personality of Mother Teresa and the nature of the purported letters. Who is Mother Teresa? And what letters did she write? During her lifetime, Mother Teresa made a lot of powerful public statements. However, despite her public pronouncements on Christ's boundless love, Mother Teresa's private writings revealed a harrowing internal struggle. Her letters documented a profound spiritual emptiness, a haunting silence that left her feeling utterly alone. This existential battle, spanning decades, painted a poignant picture of her inner conflict. 11 weeks after expressing this deep despair, Mother Teresa delivered her Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech with her trademark smile. The stark contrast between her public demeanor and private suffering shows the complexity of her faith. The release of these private letters significantly impacted how the world perceived Mother Teresa, who was previously revered as an icon of unwavering trust. While outwardly exuded purity and serenity, her inner world grappled with a profound sense of God's absence. But what scientists found about her condition is even more enjoyable. A study by the University of Pennsylvania suggests that up to half of clergy experience periods of doubt and questioning throughout their careers. This proves the universality of human experience, even for those dedicated to their faith. Before going deeper into the letter, let us give a little context into the person of Mother Teresa. While several people know her as Agnes Gonsha Boyakshiu, Mother Teresa wasn't born by that name. She was christened Agnes Gonsha Boyakshiu, with Gonsha translating to flower bud in Albanian. This detail adds a touch of symbolism to her life, which is dedicated to serving the most vulnerable. The world was sad when Mother Teresa died on September 5, 1997. The woman affectionately known as the Saint of the Gutters breathed her last at the Missionaries of Charity headquarters in Kolkata. Years of declining health, including lung, heart, and kidney issues, culminated in a fatal heart attack. Her devoted sisters, clad in the order's signature white and blue saris, surrounded her. A close confidant, Sunita Kumar, recalled Mother Teresa's final words as a poignant whisper, "I can't breathe." Sister Neera's announcement of Mother Teresa's death sent shockwaves across the globe. Tributes poured in from dignitaries like Pope John Paul II and President Clinton hailed her as a beacon of love and compassion. Yet, on the bustling streets of Kolkata, she found her calling and built her legacy. Mother Teresa's selfless love crossed religious boundaries in India, a predominantly Hindu nation. While Princess Diana was the Queen of Hearts, Mother Teresa embodied the spirit of India's poor and oppressed. When news of her passing arrived, it jolted the nation awake, a poignant reminder of the immense loss. Mother Teresa spent her life traveling the globe, offering solace and assistance with an ever-positive outlook. However, unbeknownst to many, she harbored an internal battle. The truth about this inner turmoil only surfaced near the end of her life. Some people have suggested that the letters were manipulated to soil the image of this set. How was the letter discovered? Were they really written by Mother Teresa or some naysayers?
The letters. It chronicles the untold story of the struggle and isolation she endured as she served the poor in Calcutta, India.
4 years after the passing of Mother Teresa, a startling revelation came to light. Archbishop Henry D'Souza disclosed that she underwent an exorcism just months before passing. Mother Teresa was convinced that she was possessed by a demon and consented to the ritual in November 1996 during a hospital stay in Kolkata. A version has it that she had repeated sleepless nights during hospitalization. This prompted Archbishop D'Souza's intervention. While this experience with an exorcism is widely reported, it's important to note that Archbishop D'Souza clarified that it wasn't a formal exorcism. He stated that a prayer from the rite of exorcism was used, but he didn't believe Mother Teresa to be genuinely possessed. It is also important to point out that while exorcisms are traditionally associated with demonic possession, the Catholic Church also recognizes the concept of oppression, a lesser form of spiritual distress caused by external malevolent influences. This distinction suggests that Mother Teresa's experience might not have necessarily involved full-blown demonic possession. Archbishop D'Souza sought assistance from Father Rosario Stroschio, who then led a half-hour prayer service over the ailing nun. This service echoed elements of an exorcism ritual, lending credence to the Archbishop's claims. Father Stroschio later suggested that Mother Teresa exhibited unusual behavior before the prayer session. He elaborated on how even saints have historically grappled with spiritual challenges. Remarkably, Mother Teresa reportedly experienced immediate peace and tranquility after the service. Archbishop D'Souza also suggested that Mother Teresa's exceptional holiness made her susceptible to spiritual attacks, implying that even saints are not immune to evil forces. However, alternative explanations for the intervention exist. You will be thrilled to find alternative explanations for Mother Teresa's situation. Here is how it all started. This promises to be revealing. In 2003, the publication of a book titled Mother Teresa, Come Be My Light sent shockwaves through the religious world. This compilation pieced together Mother Teresa's private letters spanning 6 decades and revealed a hidden truth. For nearly 50 years, she battled a profound spiritual crisis. Interestingly, these letters laid bare her inner turmoil and were preserved against her explicit wishes. She had ardently desired their destruction, shielding the world from her private battles. The Church, however, intervened, overriding her wishes. While Mother Teresa outwardly exuded cheerfulness, a stark contrast existed within. In her letters, she described her spiritual anguish as a living hell, expressing feelings of resentment towards a perceived spiritual dryness and even questioning God's presence. What is more attractive? Come Be My Light wasn't compiled by a skeptical outsider, but by Reverend Brian Kolodyichuk, a senior member of the Missionaries of Charity and Mother Teresa's postulator, tasked with advocating for her sainthood. Reverend Kolodyichuk compiled these letters. Let us examine the plot of the letter. How much of Mother Teresa's life and times were captured in the letters? After nearly 17 years of educating young minds in Kolkata with the Loreto sisters, a transformative shift awaited Agnes Gonsha Boyakshiu, known then as Mother Teresa. Though weary, she embarked on her customary annual retreat in September 1946, a 400-kilometer journey by train to Darjeeling, near the Himalayan foothills. During this retreat, a profound spiritual experience unfolded. In January 1947, Mother Teresa recounted a powerful message received in prayer from Archbishop Ferdinand Perrier. Jesus implored her with an unwavering commitment to answer her true calling. He wanted Indian nuns and preachers of charity spreading his love to the impoverished and marginalized. This calling wasn't without its challenges. Jesus acknowledged her shortcomings, suggesting her weakness and sinfulness could fulfill a divine purpose. Mother Teresa, with characteristic humility, surrendered her doubts and fears. She committed to being an instrument of God's grace, ready to venture into unfamiliar and arduous territory. Fueled by an unwavering conviction, she pursued her calling. It wasn't just about alleviating physical suffering, she envisioned a profound spiritual transformation for those she helped. While some influential figures, like Archbishop Ferdinand Perrier, initially harbored doubts, Mother Teresa's faith in her sacred mission remained unshakable. She navigated bureaucratic hurdles within the Catholic mission with strategic persuasion and spiritual zeal. During this challenging journey, she sought guidance through prayers and conversations with Christ, striving to understand her purpose. Mother Teresa also experienced mystical visions that solidified her chosen path and illuminated the way during moments of despair. Her confessor, Father Celeste van Exem, testified to the authenticity of her experiences. Now this is the most shocking part of the revelation. Mother Teresa's order, the Missionaries of Charity, has grown to include over 4,500 sisters operating in 139 countries. How bad were her dark days, and how did she overcome the darkness? Despite outward success, Mother Teresa's private letters to Father Van Exem revealed a different story. Even after securing a home for her burgeoning mission just 2 months in, a deep loneliness gnawed at her. She described a persistent sense of evil within her, an invisible burden she couldn't shake. Turning to Father Van Exem for solace and guidance, she pleaded for his prayers to dispel the sadness and doubt clouding her spirit. However, Teresa's unwavering faith, a cornerstone of her public persona, presented a significant challenge. Explaining her loyalty amidst a perceived absence of God proved difficult. Her inability to share her deepest struggles intensified her isolation. Begging for support, in maintaining her unwavering devotion, she confessed to being constantly bombarded by doubt and despair during this turbulent period. In desperate need of help, Teresa confided in a confessor, revealing the darkest depths of her theological crisis. Emotional pleas documented in letters, like one from 1959, questioned the core of her beliefs. This letter marks a turning point in Teresa's spiritual journey. It paints a raw picture of her wavering faith. In a desperate plea to God, she grappled with abandonment, hopelessness, and a profound sense of isolation.
St. John says, "How can you say that you love God, whom you don't see, if you do not love?"
Torn between a yearning for a divine connection and the suffocating weight of doubt, she lived in unbearable silence and darkness. Teresa's bravery lies in her unflinching honesty. She laid bare her inner turmoil, her struggle with God's seeming absence, and the constant barrage of doubt and confusion. Despite the fear of being ostracized for blasphemy, she couldn't silence the questions gnawing at her soul. Her ultimate desire was forgiveness and closeness to Jesus. Her heartfelt prayer for comfort became a cornerstone of her work. But did she find an instant comfort in her worries? No. As her influence grew, so did her spiritual loneliness. In a heartfelt letter to Father Perrier in 1953, Mother Teresa confided in him about an intense sadness that had shrouded her since starting her work with low-income people. Despite Perrier's reassurances, the melancholy persisted. This internal conflict remained a closely guarded secret. However, it manifested outwardly as a profound sense of isolation and spiritual hollowness. Her desperate pleas for solace and direction, evident in her letters, reveal a soul wrestling with doubt and a yearning for a connection that perpetually felt out of reach. Interestingly, her internal struggles raged on even as her missionaries of charity garnered global recognition. This spiritual turmoil led her to confide in a succession of spiritual advisors, including Father Van Exem, Father Perrier, Cardinal Picasci, and Reverend Joseph Neuner. This pattern resembles someone seeking a therapist who could guide them through her emotional darkness. During her periods of anguish, Mother Teresa felt an agonizing absence of Jesus' presence, further amplifying her pain. A brief flicker of hope emerged in 1958 with the death of Pope Pius XIV. Requiem masses held worldwide presented an opportunity for her work to receive official sanction. This reprieve from a decade of inner torment offered a fleeting light. Sadly, the darkness soon returned, settling over her once again. Do you know how Mother Teresa finally found a path out of her predicament? Here's how. The light of Christ outshone her darkness, as she revealed in a letter to Father Perrier around 1961. In the letter, Mother Teresa expressed newfound acceptance of long-standing spiritual darkness, starkly contrasting typical reactions to trauma. Unlike many who seek to escape suffering, Teresa embraced it as a faint echo of Christ's earthly torment. The spiritual guide by Father Perrier offered her three profound wisdoms. First, he acknowledged there was no earthly solution for her experience. Second, he helped her understand that Christ's absence wasn't a sign of his non-existence. Finally, he reassured her that her longing for God's presence confirmed his hidden presence within her. This revelation liberated Teresa from despair and ignited hope. She sensed a deeper purpose in her quest for God, her pain transforming into a symbol of faith and resilience. While the pain persisted, she found solace in the notion that her spiritual struggle mirrored Christ's on the cross. Teresa also informed Father Perrier of growing intimacy with an inner darkness that had gnawed at her spirit for years. Though her spiritual director, Father Perrier, played a crucial role in her journey, the pain persisted. Yet Teresa followed God's calling despite the absence of solace. This acceptance of her spiritual desolation became a cornerstone of her being, ultimately leading her to a life dedicated to serving the most vulnerable. Teresa also mentioned that her suffering might extend into the afterlife. Even in the face of her internal struggles, this unwavering dedication exemplifies the boundless compassion that won her global recognition. Notably, a Jesuit priest who observed her lengthy spiritual turmoil remarked that it wasn't a fleeting phase, but rather a permanent state she was meant to endure. What we are about to reveal next will even baffle you. Could you believe that a letter from Mother Teresa as late as 1995 revealed a deep sense of spiritual emptiness? These imply that she still battled her negative feelings till the very end of her life. Meticulously compiled during her sainthood process, these letters show a hidden struggle under her unwavering public persona. Understanding that these revelations are not meant to criticize Mother Teresa is essential. Mother Teresa's steadfast dedication to her calling exemplifies remarkable spiritual fortitude in crisis. Reverend Kodia Chuck believes this unwavering commitment, despite immense internal struggles, stands as the most impressive testament to her spiritual bravery. However, a curious question arises as we examine the spiritual odyssey of Teresa. Why did her seemingly constant and profound connection with Jesus abruptly cease after the founding of the Missionaries of Charity? Interestingly, both secular and religious perspectives converge on a critical point. They agree that identifying with Christ's suffering on the cross is a cornerstone of Catholic spirituality. This suffering is viewed as essential for redemption. Teresa emphasized this connection, stating that poverty fostered a more profound compassion for the poor and strengthened her bond with Christ's agonizing sacrifice. Paradoxically, as she embarked on her mission, her spiritual wellspring appeared to run dry, leaving her dehydrated and bewildered. The immense gap between what this woman anticipated as spiritual fulfillment and the reality of spiritual emptiness raises profound questions about the nature of faith and how God interacts with the devout. Reverend Kodak suggests a divine purpose behind Teresa's perceived abandonment, a potential cleansing of pride to reveal the true strength of her spirit. While Teresa achieved significant successes, overcoming institutional hurdles and following Jesus' calling, an internal struggle brewed within her. Dr. Richard Goddell, delving into the psychological aspects of her situation, proposes that Teresa's solitude might have stemmed from an intense focus on humility, a desire to avoid taking credit for her accomplishments. Dr. Goddell compares it to a business leader who makes a social blunder during a crucial event. But these trials appeared to exacerbate Teresa's unhappiness, a weight she carried peculiarly in her pursuit of divine favor. According to some sources, Mother Teresa's increased dedication to her ministry might have caused internal conflict, leading to emotional withdrawal. Biographer Christopher Hitchens suggests a more critical interpretation. He compares Teresa's experience to that of disillusioned communists who lose faith in their ideology. However, religious scholars generally disagree, attributing her pain to a different source. They propose that Teresa's suffering stemmed from a deep sense of separation from God, similar to a devoted spouse enduring a long period of silence from their beloved. Martin, another biographer, uses this analogy. Teresa's commitment to her work, caring for the poorest of the poor, was an act of unwavering love and loyalty. Do you know why a beautiful soul like this experiences such tribulation? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Thank you for joining us.